Hi everyone! So here is my time lapse for my master copy. I chose The Cliff Walk by Claude Monet. My biggest struggle with this initially was just figuring out what brush to use. I tried a lot of the painting brushes on Procreate, but none of them were really giving the effect that I was hoping for. Like the oil paint brush was not giving oil paint. So I ended up going with dry brush, and it kind of worked for the most part. I do think maybe if I had tried a custom brush, it would have looked more like I was hoping for, but that's okay. And then for the finer details, I used a drawing brush called Oberon, something like that. But yeah, and I did have maybe like a small issue with the color drop tool, just like trying to get the colors to look as vibrant as they did on the painting. I just felt like it was kind of coming out dull. I think I saw someone else say that in their presentation as well, but that just might be how Procreate is. But yeah, so I kind of feel like my my paintings, the master copy and my personal illustration, are a little dull, but it's okay. I tried to make them like a little bit brighter by doing some adjustments, but I got it as good as I could. And then I did have trouble kind of like getting the finer details, but I get it's because we're using a smaller canvas, so that was my fault. That was just me wanting to get in there and get a little bit more detailed, but that's okay. But yes, this is my final master copy. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I think I could have maybe added a little bit more detail had I worked on it longer, but I am still pretty satisfied with the result. I put a lot of hours into this, so, and then I think it also kind of has like my own little touch to it, but it's probably because I couldn't get like the brushstroke exactly the same, but for the most part I feel like it's pretty similar. And then moving on now to my time lapse for my personal illustration. I chose to kind of do something like inspired by the original painting. I saw like some people were doing kind of completely different things, so I wasn't too sure if what I did was right, but I still I like how the concept turned out, because it kind of feels like a cohesive story, I guess. But I chose to do a girl kind of standing on the cliffside. And then for the style, I did kind of keep it similar to the original painting, just so everything looked cohesive. And then that was pretty helpful because the colors transferred over pretty well. The only area I had a lot of trouble with was the woman herself, because the characters in the original painting were really small and they didn't have a lot of detail to them, so I couldn't really grab like skin color, hair color, stuff like that. So I kind of had to just like scour the painting for colors that worked. So they're not perfect, but I think they worked pretty well, and I think that they definitely give the look I was going for, so that's great. I also had the same issue with this painting turning out a little bit dull, but I think, like I said, it's just because of the color palette on the original painting, and also just the color drop tool in Procreate kind of being a little inaccurate. But yes, sorry. But yeah, I really like how this one turned out as well. I definitely think kind of the same thing. I feel like I could have added more detail elsewhere in the painting, but I was a little bit limited on time for this copy just because I've had pretty hectic work life these past few days, but I'm still really proud of how it turned out, and I feel like I definitely learned a lot about like the process behind the painting. I feel like we kind of deconstructed it, which was really interesting, and it definitely helped me think about the technique from the original artist's perspective. So yes, thank you.